Is with us today. I'm going to give Michael Crawford, CBE, is with us today. I'm going to give this away, actually. We recorded this yesterday, in fact, because we're going to tell you about something that we did for Michael in just a second. Michael Crawford is an Olivier and Tony Award-winning actor, singer, and bona fide national treasure, loved by millions for his role as... Michael is also known around the world as musical theatre star, of course, particularly for originating the role of the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera. Michael returns to the West End this May in The Go-Between, a musical adaptation of the classic novel written by L.P. Hartley. Coming-of-age story, The Go-Between recounts the life of Leo Colston, an elderly man who finds he can no longer hide from the memories of his past. Now, as I recall, I've not seen it on stage before. Julie Christie and Edward Fox were in the movie, is that right?
And Alan Bates.
And Alan Bates, yes, of course, yeah.
The farmer.
So, last time we spoke, I mean, you were as enthusiastic as ever, rushing around doing something and crazy for it.
And now,
what?
Wizard of Oz.
It was Wizard of Oz, yeah, it was, yeah. And now here you are again, still doing it, and you must be 45 by now.
I'm nearly 45, yes. The reason I did Wizard 4 or 5 years ago is because my grandchildren had never seen me do anything. I mean, they could see you on television in reruns of some mothers. So I really wanted to do something on the stage, and then after that, I became 71, whatever I was then, and didn't really feel like working much after that. And I didn't feel so well. Things started not to be so good.
But you did it anyway.
I did it anyway. But then I felt a little better, and out of the blue came this offer to do Sport Relief to bring back Frank.
Yeah.
And we've had a few opportunities to bring back Frank, but never as enticing as this one. When they mentioned Bradley Wiggins, or Sir Bradley Wiggins, I should say, having a crash with him at the Velodrome in front of 6,000 people, that suddenly became very appealing to the child in me. And so I was back in business. And then the musical came up at the very same time.
So what was it about The Go-Between then that tempted you back to the stage?
I think it's one of those classic novels that has never been done truly to the book, because the film was a fine film. It won the Cannes Film Festival, and with Alan Bates and Julie Christie, and it was then done as a television not too long ago, about a year ago, and beautifully done as well. But it's never been done as L.P. Hartley wrote it, which was from the older man's point of view. He narrates the whole story in the novel. And David Woods, the writer, and Richard Taylor, the composer, got together and made it so that you saw it through Leo Colston's eyes at the age of, in his 60s, mid-late 60s. So it's 50 years on from this boy being a 12-year-old. And that's interesting in itself, to look back on our lives and see ourselves at 12, because when I was 12, you were quite young at that time of life, and very, very influential and life-changing. So it's a beautiful time of life. And I remember it was the time of my first audition, and it was for the English Opera Group for Benjamin Britten in Suffolk. And I fell madly in love with my chaperone, who was about 25, 26, I would think. She was most probably only 19, but I thought she was an older woman. And I was 12. And I've never forgotten Daphne. I've never forgotten that person. And this young man, Leo, he falls in love with the sister of his best friend, where he's gone to stay for the weekend.
Brilliant.
And he stays for 3 weeks in this country mansion. And it's a little like Downton Abbey in its setup, that you've got this very aristocratic family, and he's the son of a bank manager, so he's, not really upper class. And so he's the poor member of this holiday, and he falls in love with his best friend's sister. I mean, well, he doesn't fall in love, but, he has a crush on her.
Yeah.
And would do anything for her. And that's where the downfall begins, where he's then running notes between her and her lover, who is the farmer, the local farmer. And so that was it. The music is just lovely. It's
Well,
just lovely.
You've sparked my interest. I think I'm going to come see, for sure. You've sparked my interest, definitely. Oh, have you started rehearsals for that yet?
No, we're not even fully cast yet, so we're still in the process. So
Okay.
it's still quite exciting.
We were just thinking, Tim and I were just thinking maybe there's something for us in
Well,
there.
there could be, after the display today,
Well,
which the listeners haven't heard yet.
No.
I mean,
Well, so Michael comes in this morning. He says, "Look, I'm doing this thing. You know, we all know about it, where you recreate Frank Spencer, and you're doing it for sport relief. And then you say we had to be."
well, at the end of the race, I have a rather unfortunate, as usual, incident.
Surely not.
With Sir Bradley Wiggins, who's labouring with me round the velodrome on one of the nights of the World Cycling Championships last week. And I come adrift and go right up the banking. And I'm on roller skates, by the way. I forgot to let you know. You thought it was too easy up till then. And I'm on roller skates, and I go up the banking, which surprised all our stunt team, who thought I was just going to go straight on round. And I hit the barrier and go right over the barrier into the crowd. And I land with my head in between two seats and my hand supported on these seats. And on these seats are seated the Murray brothers, Jamie and Andy, who very sportingly we shot just before they took on the Japanese Davis Cup team.
Yes.
They were practicing in the background, wondering what on earth was going on with the Murray brothers going, oh, what is that? They thought it was some kind of trick that the British team were playing. So as I hit them, my hands go in between their legs rather heavily.
Okay.
And we need a reaction for that, which we didn't have.
Okay.
And you two...
Well, we've done some sound effects.
Yeah, all we
basically.
did, we didn't have any words or anything like that. I just had to do it, like that, and you did, what
At
did
the
you
same
do?
time, yeah.
No, you gave it more than that.
Oh, a little bit more.
You're underestimating your abilities
You
there.
might be right, yeah. I'm a full equity member.
You are now.
Yeah. Are we allowed to say about another superstar that's in this thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Last night I was allowed to reveal on the One Show that we have Paul McCartney.
Wow.
Sir Paul McCartney.
Wow. That's fantastic.
It was fantastic. I hadn't seen Paul for, oh my Lord, about 35, 40 years.
Good grief.
I'd done a film with John, How I Won the War.
Oh, yeah.
And we spent 3 months in the same house, living out in Almeria. And Paul and Ringo and George used to come out and stay and play table tennis, and John was in the middle of writing Strawberry Fields, which, I mean, they were days that you just never forget. And when Paul saw me again the other day, he said, "Who are you?" So he never forgot me.
Right.
No, but he said immediately yes, he would do it. And we've got people that don't often do these sort of things. So we drew people out. They said it had been part of their childhood. So it was really rather special to have them with us.
Of course. What was it like recreating him? Because, I mean, you know, looking at it, the trailer that I've seen, well, it just looks like Frank Spencer. I mean, that's him.
I never watched it. I just couldn't do it. If they said the scene was right and I felt the timing was right, then I just go with it. But I saw it when we did the editing, and I thought, oh my God, who's that old man? I mean, I am much older. I'm 42 years on since we did the roller skating sequence, and now I recreated part of that again, which was with the boy in you. It's great.
Yeah, it must have been joyous. It must have
You
been.
don't think of age. When you think, I'm going to roller skate, I'm going to roller skate. I'm going to do exactly what I did. I know I've got to practice. And if you start thinking how old you are, you really won't do too much.
As a viewer and as a fan, you're drawn to him and you're drawn away from him at the same
Yes,
time.
yes, you are. You're glad you don't live next door to him.
Listen, it's fantastic to see you back in the theatre, you know, as an actor, and it's great to welcome you back as Frank Spencer for Sport Relief, and it's fantastic to see you looking well and doing really well. We can say that you can see Michael Crawford in the new musical, The Go-Between. It'll be at the Apollo Theatre in London, running for a limited season from Friday, May 27th. And you can watch the return of Frank Spencer as part of BBC One's Sport Relief coverage starting at 7 p.m. this Friday. Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Tim.
Michael Crawford, everybody.
Lovely to see you.
And you. Thank you very much. Michael